Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be doing a full in-depth review on the Mariale collection with ColourPop Cosmetics. This is giving all the cyberpunk e-girl vibes and it's seriously so cute. I have the entire collection here to swatch, compare and just review for you guys today. So with that being said, if you guys are curious about my thoughts, want to see comparisons, swatches, 3 looks, it's gonna be a long video, so maybe grab a little drink. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop right into the video. So like always, there is going to be timestamps in case you want to skip forward to a certain product, but because this collection is a little bit big, I'm just going to go category by category, so the timestamps are always there for you. You can just run your mouse over the timeline. I will say I'm not really too familiar with Mariale, but seeing her collection, I feel like she's an OG ColourPop fan. Just seeing the selection that she picked out, it's giving very OG ColourPop girl. With that being said, the first item, which we always gotta talk about, is the eyeshadow palette. It's called ctrl+alt+glam. So cute. The outer packaging definitely gives you a little hint to what the color story is going to be like. So it's a 12-pan palette and it consists of beautiful purples, a hint of neutrals, and a pop of blue. This goes for $22 USD. There is a pressed glitter in here, by the way, so keep that in mind if that's something you're not so fond of. But the overall color story is so pretty. Like this row here, it's very neutral, so if you don't want to play with color, you do have this row to fall back on. It has that pop of blue that complements the purples really well. I love all the looks that I did with this, and I just really love the look I have on today. I'm trying to think of another palette that has this kind of color story from ColourPop, but it's hard to think of, but I will of course put those comparisons up here. I will say, if anything, the metallics are pretty like satin-like. They're not super foil, but that's not really a bad thing either. It's just, I guess, something to note. But overall, I really did enjoy this palette. Love the looks I got out of it, and I think it's just so pretty. And then next in the collection, we have the graphic ink eyeliners. There are 3 different shades. They go for $10 US each. The 3 shades are Utopia, which is the purple. We got Next Level, which is the bright aqua blue. And then we have Tech Girl, which is the peachy pink. 3 beautiful shades, and I have used this formula before. I got sent the original lineup. Was gonna do a video on it, but kind of just missed my timing on it. But I have used it, and I think the formula, it's not my favorite type of eyeliner to use, especially like with this pot and the brush dipping into it. I find it to be too inky, and depending on the shade, some of them can be a little bit patchy because when you swipe it, there are places where it picks up more ink and then some places that are a little bit more transparent, and then when you let it dry, you add on top of it, it kind of just cracks a little bit. But I will say with her ones, I do find them a little bit easier to use when it comes to formula. My favorite one would have to be the purple Utopia. This one is the most opaque, the one that's like not as patchy. The blue one is a really unique color, Next Level. It's a really unique color, but I do find it like you gotta build it up, which means it can lead to it cracking, to it being a little bit patchy. And then the peachy pink Utopia is really pretty as well, but this one's a little bit lighter, so it does look, you know, somewhat a bit patchy. And I feel like once it dries down, the color, the opaqueness does fade away a little bit, so you gotta add more on top. Definitely not my go-to type of eyeliner, but I will say I think the shades that she did come out with are pretty unique in comparison to the shades that ColourPop already came out with, and it matches the collection perfectly. Like, I used all 3 eyeliners on my eyes today. That's just how perfect it is for this collection. So I do like them, and I do think I'll get my use out of them for future looks. I just don't like, I don't know, I wouldn't like recommend it with my soul, you know what I mean? But then moving into the next category, we have some Super Shock blushes, which again is original formula. So I feel like Mariale is an OG ColourPop fan because the Super Shocks, you can't go wrong with these blushes. So the first shade we have is called Digital Baddie, which is more of a rosy pink. It kind of gives me Growth Flirt vibes. You guys know I used to be obsessed with that Super Shock. Then we have the shade Virtual Reality, which is more of like a peachy terracotta type of blush, which is really pretty. And then lastly, we have Just Plain, which is the blush that I'm currently wearing on my cheeks right now. And this is the brighter red, but you can tone it down to a bright pink. The Super Shock blushes seriously is the best cream blushes on the market because you can apply these on top of powder and they will still look amazing. I always apply these blushes on top of powder and they always look so good. They're so easy to apply. They're buildable, they're pigmented. Just the Super Shock blushes, they're a classic, and I think if there's a shade in here that you like, I will say go for it. Honestly, you can't go wrong with a Super Shock blush, no matter the collection, no matter the shade. I would always recommend the Super Shock blushes. And then moving on to the lips, we have 3 Luxe lipsticks. Again, a classic formula from ColourPop. These are also $10 US each. We have 3 different shades. The first shade is called Gamer Girl, which is the lightest nude, like it's a pinky nude. Would look really great with a lip liner. The second shade is called Digital Twin, which is more of like a caramel brown nude. And then we have a Cyber Babe, which is the darkest, which is more of like a brownish mauve nude. So these are all nudish, everyday type of shades. Personally, for me, shade wise, these are not like my type of color. I find these shades, they really wash me out a lot. I just don't think they're really flattering on my skin, and I think out of this entire collection, the Luxe lipsticks are what I'm mostly disappointed in. But the Luxe lipsticks are not what I feel like they used to be. I find these to be very, very slippery, and they just kind of emphasize the line on my lips a lot, and they just don't feel hydrating. This lighter nude one was quite patchy, like I would have to go over it, but then every time I kept swiping, there would be like a bold patch somewhere. It just wasn't the most ideal. I mean, once you get them on, you blend it out with a lip brush, they do look good, but they're not very comfortable, and they're just not what I remember them to be. So for me, in this collection, personally, I would skip on the Luxe lipsticks. And then for the final makeup item, we have one So Glassy gloss. This is also 10 USD as well. I absolutely love the So Glassy gloss formula. It just gives you a really nice shine. Like, it's not too juicy, but the shine just makes your lips look so pouty. And this one has more of a golden base, but it has a lot of glitter in it. A lot of different reflex glitter, so I do think again it matches the collection really well. Isn't my favorite gloss shade? Not necessarily, but I do love the formula, and I think it's really pretty. It would look beautiful on top of all 3 lipsticks. I think that was her whole idea, to make everything, you know, mash together. So it's a really pretty one, just nothing that I typically would use, but it's still a really pretty gloss nonetheless. But the last thing in the collection, we do have these little crystals, which are so pretty. I love these crystals from ColourPop. They are expensive, the 10 USD for this little sheet. You probably could just buy stickers, get the same effect, but I really love the sizes that ColourPop has, especially these mini micro ones. I have 2 on my eyes right now. So pretty. I love these, and again, it matches the collection perfectly because it has a shift of purple, blue, a bit of green in there as well. I absolutely love these, and every time I do make an order on ColourPop, if I need a little bit more for free shipping, I always get these crystals to get that free shipping, and they always come in a use. I think crystals they just make a look. They really make a look. So hopefully you guys found my review, my swatches and comparisons helpful. Let's go ahead and move into my 3 looks. I hope you will enjoy. So hopping into the first look, I'm going to start off with the shade So Meta. This is going to be the base color for our eye look. So I'm first just going to sweep that all over my lids, and then I'll slowly blend that up into my crease up towards my brow bone. I'm also going to run that onto my lower lash line as well. The shadow I thought would be a little bit more neutral and brown, but it definitely leans a little bit more peachy, which is a nice surprise, but I guess it does look a little bit different from what it looks like in the pan. But next we're going to go into the shade Weeby, and we're going to focus this at the outer corners of our eyes, just slowly deepening out the eye look. I'm also going to take that into the inner corners of my eyes too, so pretty much just keeping the center blank of this darker shadow. We're going to be creating a really soft, hazy halo eye, but also taking Weeby onto my lower lash line as well, just with that pencil brush. I'm going to run that along my lower lash. Now going into the shade Hacker, I'm going to focus this at the center on my lids, where we sort of left that blank without the darker brown. This is a really beautiful satin reddish bronze, and I feel like with the browns it just gives the ultimate fall vibes. Now taking the shade Tokens, I'm going to use this to highlight my inner corners. Tokens has a really golden peach undertone, so it really ties in with all of the warmer shades that we just used. And then to complete the look for my cheeks, I'm wearing the Super Shock blush in the shade Virtual Reality. Again, I think this ties in perfectly with our warm tone eye look. Like, this is just the most perfect dusty peach blush. But that is pretty much the first look completed. For my final lip pairing, I did go with the Luxe lipstick in the shade Cyber Babe. I think it really ties in with this fall look that I'm going for. And for this first look, I did want to use that neutral row. However, it did go a little bit darker than I was thinking, a little bit more fall and rich. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this first look as well. So now moving into the second look, I'm first going to start off with Glam Verse. This is going to be the base, the transition for this look. So I'm just going to pack that onto my lids first, and then I'll slowly blend that up into my crease up towards my brow bone. I'm also going to sweep that all over my lower lash line as well. This is a really nice mauvey purple shade. Next, I'm going into the shade Circuit, and I'm going to focus this at the outer corners of my eyes just to really deepen out the eye look. For this look, I want the outer corners to be super dark, so just using this at the outer third. I'm also going to run that on my lower lash line as well. I just really like this look to create more of like a cat eye shape, and I think it just flatters my eye shape in general, but I also think it would flatter a lot of eye shapes, so just focusing this at the outer corners. Next, I'm going to go into the shade Upload. This one is a beautiful purple to blue violet duochrome, so we're going to focus this at the inner third of our eyes, contrasting with the darker outer corners. I'm going to tap that out, blend that into my crease. I'm going to bring that into my inner corners to highlight, but also onto my lower lash line as well at the inner third. Then I'm going to go into Hologram, which is the pressed glitter. I'm only going to focus this on my lower lash line at the inner third, again just to highlight. This glitter looks white in the pan, but on the eyes I do see a lot more purple reflex, and the glitters are very tiny. They're not so chunky. But to pretty much complete the look, I do go in with a black eyeliner. I'm pretty much going to be tightlining my upper and bottom waterline with this eyeliner. I'm going to use this to create my wing as well. I do go in with a black eyeshadow just to help smudge that wing out, but essentially that is the eye look. For my blush, I'm going in with the Super Shock blush in the shade Digital Baddie. I'm going to be applying this to the tops of my cheekbones. But here we have the second look completed. Of course, I had to do a purple look because I think that matches the collection perfectly. I love the duochrome at the inner third, and I just overall love how this final look turned out. It's very vampy and very sultry with the darker purples and the tight line with the black liner. So I really love how it turned out, and hopefully you guys like it too. Finally, onto the last look. I'll be starting off with the shade Pixel. This is the light lavender with a lot of little sparkles in it. It has that matte base, but those glitters really do come through when you pack it on the eyes, which is perfect for this look because I do want those little glitters to sparkle through. So I'm just gonna scatter that all over my lid, blend that up into my crease, up towards my brow bone. I also take that onto my lower lash line as well, just really diffusing the shadow all over. Next, I'm going into Avatar, which is the purple metallic. It definitely comes off a little bit more satin-like. It's not as foiled on the eyes, but I'm gonna focus that at the inner third of my eyes, and I'm gonna take that into my inner corners as well, also onto my lower lash at the inner third. I want this to be quite diffused out. I don't want to like cut my crease out with this or anything, just like tapping it out so we do have a really soft blend. Next, I'm going into Glitch, which is the turquoise metallic metallic blue. I'm gonna focus this at the outer third of my eye, so sort of doing like a dual eye look. I'm gonna mesh that in at the center, blending that into the purple. Since we are working with metallics, these blend in really easily together. But I'm also gonna take glitch onto my lower lash line. I'm focusing this a little bit more towards the center. Then I'm going into the shade Circuit, which is that dark plum. I'm gonna use this on my lower lash line, just at the outer corner, creating that new straighter lower lash that I love doing. Just adds a bit of definition and a bit of purple to our eye look as well. But now it's time to use the graphic ink eyeliners. I'm first going in with the shade Utopia, which is the purple. I'm going to be using this for my main wing. I think it contrasts really nicely against the blue, and the whole color story really does come together. Then going into the shade Next Level, which is the really bright aqua blue. I'm going to draw a little dot under my eye, sort of where that blue shadow is. It's very, very subtle, but it's just like a little detail that I wanted to do. And then I'm also going to take a little line underneath that purple eyeliner, creating a double wing. Just adds more color and really enhances that pink and blue purple color story. And then using the last ink liner, it's called Tech Girl, which is the peachy baby pink color. We're gonna drag this along the crease line, sort of like what you would do when you are carving out your crease. If it's not completely clean, that's okay, because we're gonna be going on top with glitter. So we're gonna take the shade Hologram, the pressed glitter in the palette, and we are gonna tap that on top of that eyeliner. And I'm gonna focus this like above the crease. I'm not gonna bring it onto my lid, so that way we still can see the purple and we sort of have like a glitter cut crease, if that makes sense. I do find the glitter in the palette not to be so sparkly, so I went in with my Urban Decay Heavy Metal glitter in the shade Distortion, which has subtle like green and blue glitter reflex that matches with the eye look. And then to finish off the look, I'll be taking the crystals from her collection. I'm just taking the smaller size. I'm placing one in the inner corners and then one at the outer corner for a little twinkle. And then for blush, I'll be using the shade Just Playin'. It is the red blush and it is pretty pigmented off the bat. You can see I did go in with a little too much, but with the Super Shock formulas, they are really easy to blend out, so it does tone down to more of like a fuchsia pink. But with the blush on, this is the final look completed. I think this look really represents the whole collection with the overall color scheme with the purple, pink, and blue. I love how this look turned out. It probably would have to be my favorite out of all three in today's video, and I haven't really done this like color story before with the purple and blue, so I'm really loving how it looks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this final look as well. Alright guys, so those were my three looks. What do you guys think? Let me know which look was your favorite down below in the comments. Was it the neutral? Was it the chromey look? Or was it the final blue and purple look? Let me know down below in the comments. I love hearing your feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you did enjoy the video, if you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up for me. I'd appreciate it so much. It really does help me and my channel out a lot. But yeah, that does conclude today's video guys. Thank you so much for watching again. I love you, and I'll go ahead and see you guys in my next video. Bye!